Hey everyone, Steve here from Big Head Tech, and I know they say don't feed the trolls, don't listen to the trolls, just ignore them. Well, I have a couple that literally follow me on Reddit anytime I post something and want to jump in and argue. And I feed them quite often, to be 100% honest. But there's one or two, one in particular has come in the last couple of posts I've made, has tens of thousands of comments, so I spend way too much time on Reddit. I think today I was looking to have I don't know, 100 comments or something like that. And it's like, man, I wish I could comment that much, but I have a job and a business to run. But anyway, so they made me go outside the box today. Not that I'm not comfortable doing that, but I feel like my audience, my spin on things really shouldn't do this. But a lot of people kept saying, well, the I7-8700K can overclock a little. Look, my audience doesn't care about that. My audience wants very easy, set and forget, simple overclock features, ones that won't overheat, that'll perform stable, etc. But I think a lot of people that are going to buy a used I7-8700K are going to be more enthusiasts. So this time, just this one time, we're going to see if this is indeed a really good chip for $200. If you're an enthusiast, we're going to do some overclocking and all sorts of fun stuff. So looking at the test setup here, we have the original. Now, how the original test works is we just use Intel's enhanced turbo boost technology. We're running 2400 megahertz, which is what the chips, that's what the memory controller supports. Yes, you can go faster, but the problem is once you hit about 10 to 15 seconds of 4.7 gigahertz, it'll downclock the 4.3. Some chips will run 4.7, but it'll downclock a bit. They're about 4.3. Because Intel will not allow you to basically exceed the TDP for more than 10 or 15 seconds. Now, to alleviate this, a couple things you can do, and this is the second test, is you can change the short-term, long-term boost, or TDP to 255, which is the max. You have to change the boost time to 128 seconds, which pretty much was fine. Then I just kept everything else alone. The last test, same thing, except we went to 4.9 manual OC, 1.36 volts. I couldn't get 5.0, required another 0.03 volts, and at that point, on an open air test bench with a dual tower cooler, we're in the 90 degrees, and I just don't go that high. Not for any kind of real, because again, I want to keep this somewhat rural world. So that's that. When we look at Cinebench, just going from 4.7 base, short-term boost to 4.7 permanent with faster memory. We did jump up quite a bit. So R15, for example, only jumped up like 20 points. Single core was pretty much unfazed. It went up a little bit. R20 single core moved a little bit, but R20 multi-core jumped up 200 points. Going to 4.9 gigahertz, that's where we see the single core increase to 215, and then also 512, so decent gains there. Multi-core increased to 1572, which is actually still behind the 3600, but on R20 it went to 3906. Do note that now this video is about a $200 chip. This chip's normally 260 to 280, which is 3700 range. When you look at the Ryzen 7 3700X, it basically cleans its clocks at stock. Granted, you really can't OC these chips that much all day, which is really nice. Except for single core, it's still a little bit behind, but we knew that. So moving over to Blender, we're at 5.05 seconds with the base. We went to 4.72 when we sustained that 4.7 all-core overclock with 3000 megahertz memory, bumping up another 200 megahertz with 600 megahertz faster memory. So we went 600. We brought down to 4.5. So in this case, it does beat the 3600. Obviously, still behind the 8-core 16-thread 3700. Games. This is what most people are interested in. So even with faster memory and all-core speed, we did see some gains, but not enough to overtake the 3600 until we had 4.9. It did squeak out a small win at 1080p. 1440p was pretty much unchanged. Now, jumping over to For Honor Extreme, even in this situation, 4.9 3600 megahertz did not pass it. Not entirely sure why. I kind of expected it, but really there were almost no gains across the board. So that might have to do something with the game and how it interacts with Intel chips, but I got the same results. Looking at the Division 2, it did end up passing the 3600, we got all the way up to 114 FPS, so a 4 FPS increase going 200 megahertz and faster memory. When we did the all-core 4.7 and faster memory, was unphased. So that leads me to believe in this game I was already boosting, probably on single core or 2 cores to that speed. Now, the very last one is Ghost Recon Wildlands, and where we're at, we did see a sizable gain of about 4, actually closer to 5 FPS. It is important to note that there was almost no increase when we did the Forest all-core. I think, again, we weren't running into those boosting issues, and memory didn't make a difference. So that's the test. So I did this not to feed the trolls, but I think there was some feedback about this as well. And this brings me back to the point that when you start getting these chips in the real working environments, I don't mean everything disabled, one monitor with a 720p background, and no. I still need to put these in as realistic situations as I can. We need to have multiple monitors. We need to have Chrome tabs open. A couple monitoring programs minimum just to simulate some sort of load. Because that is what my users are going to experience, period. Nobody, and I mean nobody, games or does everything with everything shut off at one screen. Like most of the computers I sell, people are using multiple monitors. Like gamers and streamers are using multiple monitors. So I try to simulate that. But my too long didn't read is changing for this though. If you're an enthusiast, and especially if you already have a Z370 or 390 board, or you can get one real cheap, an 8700K is a good buy. But that's only if you're willing to overclock it and do some manual work on it. As you see in my test results, even if you change the TDP, the duration, all core boost, and 3000 megahertz memory, that's not enough for me to recommend it. You have to hit 4950 manual overclocking, which is going to require validation, overnight stress test, a little bit better cooling than a dual tower cooler. You're looking at a high-end 240, 280, or a 360 radiator at that point. Mind you, I did this on an open test bench at about 18 degrees ambient. But there definitely is a place for this chip. I think it's in place if you're an enthusiast. It's a good deal. That being said, if you're buying it for 260 to 280, I can't recommend it over 3700X. The smidget gain you get from overclocking, you give up so much multi-core performance, and as these 7nm chips get better bin and better piece of silicon, we're starting to see 3600s overclocking to 4.4, even somebody said 4.5 on all cores. I suspect the 3700X, if it can start to hit that 4.6 all-core overclock, it's just going to blow away Intel competition-wise. So that's my take. Thank you for tuning in this video. I'll put some stuff in the link in the description for you guys to consider to buy. This is a follow-up. Thank you to the trolls for calling me out, because now there's more information on my channel for people to make better decisions. If you liked the video, liked it, dislike, leave a comment, and get subscribed. And as always, this is Steve from Big Head Tech, and I'll see you later on down the road.